With magical charm and beautiful faces, Madame Askew and the Grand Arbiter are taking you places. Madame Askew and the Grand Arbiter, they're taking you places today. They're doing little dances and rainbows. It's Madame Askew, yes, Madame Askew, yes, Madame Askew and the Grand Arbiter. Yeah. Oh, we started again. Woo! Welcome. Hello.
Hello. Good evening. It is I, Madame Askew, and I'm here with my wonderful partner, the Grand Arbiter. Good evening, everyone.
Tis nothing.
Grand Arbiter, you are a treasure. It is always something to be here with you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And thank you, everyone who's joining us live
on the ether webs, connecting
all over the place,
emotionally, spiritually. Madame Askew, are you excited?
Yes, I am so excited. I feel the emotional, spiritual connection. It's spooky season,
I feel the rhythm of the sartorial gods is calling.
I hear them calling us, Grand Arbiter. Yeah. They're saying, Madam, you need to get in the workshop and get sewing. We miss you.
No. They're also reminding all of our lovely Patreons and all of our other participants that this is your last opportunity to sign up for the corset class.
That is correct.
This last hour as we sit here is your last opportunity. The very second that we close this up, I will be going up and turning off the application form.
Yes.
So please, if you are interested in doing corsetry with Madame Askew, now is the time to fill out that form. Because if you don't fill out that form, well,
alas, no.
I guess you'll have to wait till another time.
It's true. I'm only able to teach this virtual corset class once a year, typically in the autumn. So this will be the last time this year. Next year we'll probably be back about the same time in September.
Who knows? We could be run over by an antelope or struck by several bolts of lightning. Very frightening.
Not the antelope, though. I mean, surely not the antelope.
We could be eaten by a cute pygmy hippo, popular on the internet.
I want to have tea with the hippo, not get eaten by the hippo. But that, oh my gosh. Well, dear Tracy, dear Ricky, hello. Ty is here. Ty almost missed the notifications because they got distracted by writing lesbians. Ty, thank you for your service. Thank you. Hello, Lady June Squirrel. Hello. It's so good to see everyone. And yes, the Grand Arbiter's right. We could be eaten by pygmy hippos, I suppose. My penchant for inviting them.
They're pygmy hippo piranha hybrids.
Yeah. What?
They're very cute, but they have very sharp teeth.
I was not prepared for you to go there.
There's so many magical creatures in this world, and so many of them could devour us at any given moment.
And sometimes we want to be devoured, but usually we would prefer to devour them, is the reality.
Or have a neutral relationship. That's like kind of the option.
Just come to tea. No one's devouring. We're just eating cucumbers and bread and jam, and it's very nice. And everyone leaves and is very happy. That's sort of a wonderful outcome. But before we get into tonight's topic, which is, in fact, all about magical creatures, and whether or not they will devour you or you shall be devouring them, we do have a few little announcements before we get into it. The Grand Arbiter is having a wild evening, and we are all in for our own magical ride with him this evening. He has recently returned from a visit with Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh,
and
yes, Dr. Frankenstein. No, I got my COVID shot and my flu shot today, so I'm a little woozy. I also recently did a massive convention for the salt mine company that I work for, really shoveling so much salt. Hello, Gail. Lovely to see you here. That's a lovely treat.
Wonderful. Hello, my darling. Hello. And thank you, Tracy, for the kind compliments.
So let's quickly go through our announcements. What's coming up? Quick, fast and dirty, as it were, Madame Askew.
Fast and dirty, just how I like it. So this Sunday we start our wonderful 6-week corset class. As the Grand Arbiter said, your last opportunity to sign up for that is during this live stream. The link has already been posted in the chat. Next weekend, I am so excited to be welcoming author Maz Maddox and audiobook narrator Kurt Graves to join me for my Sip the Tea on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And that will be live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Just
and
like
that'll be the 28th, right now. Correct?
28th, okay. Saturday the 28th at 10 in the morning, our time. So much more reasonable hour if you live east of us. But we're going to have Kurt and Maz. It's going to be wonderful. Please come, bring your questions, be ready for cheeky nonsense. We also will be back for Friday Tea next week. And oh my goodness, we will be shortly getting into book club and all of that nonsense in October. We are reading the wonderful Dreadnought by Sherry Priest, and you can find information about that in our Temporal Textual Talks book club. The event page is coming and going to be posted. But there's one more event I want to bring to your attention. If you live here in Southern Arizona, if you are close enough to Tucson to come and be in person, we're doing an in-person event. After the interview with Maz and Kurt in the afternoon, I will be at the Murphy Wilmot Library with the Tucson Steampunk Society, talking about steampunk and welcoming people into our steampunk community. So that event page is posted onto our page. Please check it out. Please come to all of these ridiculous events we have planned. And yes, Ty, you have to find that moving box that Dreadnought is in so you can join us, read that book. We're so excited. I love Sherry Priest's writing. This is part of her Clockwork Century series. It starts with Bone Shaker, but most of the novels are a bit standalone. They build on each other in that they develop the world more, but you don't necessarily have the same characters in every book, so you can read them in any order and still appreciate them and enjoy them. But we wanted to start with a little bit of a different part of the story rather than starting with Bone Shaker, which is where most people start. Was the first. It was a fantastic book. It's still fantastic. I definitely recommend it to you. But we're going to try out Dreadnought, which is another favorite of mine. I'm very excited to share it with all of you. So that's the news from Steampunk Landia, at least our corner thereof, and what we've got coming up. Grand Arbiter, did I forget anything?
Not for anything this month, because this month is coming to a close. Spooky season is upon us in full force.
So I'm so excited for spoopy season. It's my favorite time. I know that we will have shenanigans. I'm very excited to share some special guests with all of you, probably some ghost stories, all sorts of nonsense in October. It will be lovely. As an aside, Grand Arbiter.
Yes.
Did you know that Madame Gail has a new book coming out and it is up for pre-order?
I am aware of such a thing.
Now,
And
Ty
I
just mentioned,
understand it involves shifters into otters.
yes, it does. It is another wonderful gay shifter romance, The Dratzi Dilemma, that's available on Gail's website. You can pre-order it. And just in time for gay Christmas, as Ty mentioned, because obviously October brings us gay Christmas with Halloween. And for Christmas, you need to share gifts, not just candy, but it's a great time to share books with the people you love. Buy a book, share a book, give a book, leave a review. I think that's it. I think I covered it. Yeah. That's good. So, Grand Arbiter, now that we've done our announcements, are you ready?
No.
Listen, everyone, the Grand Arbiter like this during a live stream, I'm not certain if it's a gift to me or a whole new series of challenges, because you're unhinged tonight, my darling.
I'm merely drowsy, just a little droopy. It's all fine. Everything is fine. Everything is a-okay. It's not like I did 3 marathons worth of physical labor in the last 3 days and then was like, I'm going to immediately get vaccinated.
No, well, Dr. Frankenstein told you it would all be fine. We all know.
No, I didn't go to Frankenstein. Rather than going to Frankenstein, I went to Senor Frankenstein, who is, of course, the well-known Southwest spiritualist.
Did he try and use healing sounds to deliver
It was sound baths. No joke. The event that I went to had a sound bath session every morning at 7 a.m., which is bananas.
My goodness, an entire sound bath every morning to start your day.
Yes,
how invigorating.
A sound deluge, but you know.
Sound shower. Hello, Bill.
Really taking Sound Fleet Week to a different experience.
Sound of Fleet Week. Oh, well, on that happy note, Grand Arbiter, I'm just going to pivot left entirely from there. Also, hello, my darlings.
Oh my goodness. Tracy thought they were watching watching the live stream, but it was an old live stream. Yeah, no, this is today's live stream. I'm sorry you are having challenges. Apologies.
No, thank you for being here, and apologies for any confusion. We're just excited that it works and that we're here. That's such a good time, and sometimes a surprise.
And we're a good time, gal and pal, aren't we?
Yes, we are, Grand Arbiter. Very good time, and usually very inexpensive too, because we love tea.
We're a cheap date. It's true.
Just buy us a cup of tea.
With 12 easy payments of $4.99, you too gonna have weird queers go into your living room through your TV, be very obnoxious.
Yes. Well, tonight we're going to talk about our special Patreon's Corner topic, as voted on by our wonderful Patreon community, which is mythical eating. We are going to create recipes for mythical and supernatural creatures. We're also going to discuss whether or not we would eat something supernatural or mythical, what our guidelines are for what is permissible in our personal recipe book, and probably occasionally make an homage to Delicious in Dungeon, which really inspired this theme to a certain degree. So, Grand Arbiter.
A long lineage of magical dinners, from World of Warcraft to Dungeons and Dragons, reimagining the humans have spent their time, as much time thinking about mythical creatures as they have been thinking about eating those mythical creatures.
So the answer is we're talking about eating the supernatural creatures.
Let's start from, and I would say this is an easy one for me and a hard one for you. We're going to start with, of course, the unicorn.
Ah! All right.
Okay. So I think you would treat unicorn like you would any horse.
Yes.
And horses have been eaten for centuries.
Some people eat horses.
I said they have been eaten. That doesn't necessarily mean by whom.
We're eating nom nom. We're eating nom nom. Nom nom is happening. My gosh, Grand Arbiter.
I mean, they chose this.
Well, I am not eating unicorns, and you are correct. I just no, was not happening.
What if the unicorn was like sort of giving you sort of like a Messiah type take of my flesh kind of situation?
That is also a no. That I also don't do that. And Ty wants to know, is there a vegetarian option?
I mean, let's assume in this context that if you're a vegetarian, you don't have to eat any of these things. And some of these things I would argue aren't animals. Like is a mushroom person an animal or is it a mushroom? And I think that the unicorn would sort of be like, so horses usually described as like venison meets beef. And I think that what you actually do is you like grate the horn like it's Parmesan cheese.
Oh, the horn is like cheese. It's like full of magical spice.
Because there's nothing more magical than cheese.
Yes. So we're being philosophical tonight. I think.
Ooh, tingly meat. I think it has more of like a like rather than a Pop Rocks mouthfeel, it sort of has like a mild electric shock, like you've been rubbing your feet on a carpet. Is like the magical texture of magic is a little tiny shock, very small, very minor.
It's like the Szechuan pepper of the magical creatures world.
Yeah, just a little shock,
Also, this is true. There's nothing more magical than cheese. Absolutely.
I do think that we treat it sort of like, I think having it like a little bit of unicorn meat on pasta, or maybe even a unicorn patty with shaved unicorn horn cheese might be good.
Okay. So my goodness. I just listen. Can the unicorn have a conversation with me? I don't want to eat anything.
Let's assume that like if the thing talks, I think we can't really have a conversation. If it's sentient, I don't think we can continue the conversation.
All right.
So
in
this context, the unicorns are sort of more magical icons of purity than like sentient creatures.
Okay. All right. Well, dear Gail, who has eaten horse and assures me that it is fine and delightful, or at least fine.
Cindy, this is a recipe that I could get behind.
Is it a red wine reduction with like maybe some berry component to it, like a nice some sort of red berry? Like
I actually think it's a
berry.
I think it's something green because you want to match sort of what the unicorn eats on the regular.
So you don't think that unicorns eat berries? I'm certain they eat berries.
I mean, maybe. I think that they're more likely to eat like divinely touched grass.
Well,
blessed grass.
they are probably subsisting on magical fairy grass. It's true. And now I need to know what the equivalent of a fantasy Costco is. I don't know.
Fantasy Costco is from the Adventure Zone.
Oh, all right. A grass
Ooh,
jelly.
I think mint jelly is the right move. I think mint jelly is.
No, that's honestly, I do not feel this is the most absurd. I do not feel that unicorns are going to have the same sort of vibe as lamb. I feel like unicorns are going to be more like deer or venison, and so I would lean more towards a red wine reduction with lingonberry, and then a nice side.
What about boysenberry? How do you feel about boysenberry here?
I could be brought to the idea of boysenberry.
What about raspberry? Is that too
raspberry
sweet?
coulis? That would also work. And oh my good, look, instead of bolognese, it would be equilese. And yes.
Okay, now that we've discussed this, we're gonna move away from unicorn now, as it has been thoroughly beaten to death. We don't
You
want
brought me from being like, I won't eat unicorns, to me being on the team of red wine reduction, red berries with the unicorn or a
let's not be
bolognese.
a dead unicorn.
Okay.
Okay, our next one up is going to be a chimera. And in this instance, we're talking traditional Greek chimera.
Okay.
Lion head, goat head, snake tail.
There's a lot going on with a chimera.
A lot of things going on. Do you think that animal, like the texture is like a unification of all these things? Or do you think as the parts of the animals that they're representative of, do you think the flesh of that section is more like unified? So like the lion part is like a lion, and the snake part is like a snake, and the goat part is like a goat. Or do you think it's a combination of all three that goes throughout the whole animal?
Well, I suspect that it is little. It's got to be a combination, the sum of the parts, elevating it into something new, I think. But that maybe the zones have like a slightly different vibe. Like they highlight, it's sort of like butchering cattle. Different elements of the cattle have sort of different.
Do you think like just a more extreme version of that, so that it's like really, really distinct, but still sort of has a similar like flavor experience? Maybe it's like the difference is texture, and some of it is like a little bit flavor.
Chimera sausage.
Chimera sausage. That's a pretty good idea. I think that might be
very
really
solid.
Because like you get like chicken. Because snake has always been described to me as sort of like a chickeny texture.
That's what I've heard as well. Yeah.
And goat is a little bit like lamb.
Yeah, it's a little more pungent, a little stronger flavor than lamb, but yes.
Tracy says it's like a turducken.
It's a magical turducken.
Yes, quite magical. I think the other thing for me though is that so I think that the meat probably isn't toxic all the way through. Even poisonous snakes aren't always poisonous when you eat them. That's not necessarily the case. My suspicion is that like you can burn it out.
Or like that special fish that you can get that has the little bit of it. Yeah, you can eat it if you know how to prepare it.
Yeah, I mean that seems fair. Yeah. I think that like for the context of this story, we have to assume that so Carmina shawarma was where I was almost going. I was also thinking if the pieces are distinct enough, we could do like a chimera kebab where you take like each piece and you make it a little in the order. So lion, snake, goat, with like vegetables in between, aromatics and stuff on a stick.
Oh, yeah, a chimera kebab would be lovely.
It also is alliterative, so like
yeah,
that's
love
fun.
that. Although chimera shawarma also rhymes.
It does a similar effect.
So that's nice. I was sort of on team chimera sausage, but now I want chimera kebabs or chimera shawarma. And thank you, darling Gail.
I do think a hybrid sausage in texture is like, it's really has that risk of either being like too mealy because it's not unified enough. I mean, a sausage is as Lord Asplin has taught me about sausage, mostly because he's become fully obsessed with sausage. Yeah, no, I think this kebab is a good idea.
Yeah. So good. But
yeah.
Destiny baklava, honestly, what would you make our magical baklava out of? Because you can't follow up the chimera kebab with just like your regular baklava. You need like magical insect honey infused baklava of some variety. Like fairy queen jelly baklava.
Or like baklava. Let's see. There's some magical beetles.
Oh. But do they produce honey?
I mean, there's lots of things that produce honey. Honey is like a very common, like special magic food.
Are there? I feel like there aren't that many things that create honey, but I ask with like golden apples. Yeah, like the Greek golden apples. That's certain to not go poorly at all, and it will be just a wonderful mix with the chimera kebab.
So, bees have important myths and folklore. There are some bee goddesses.
Oh, a bee goddess. That's the way to go.
Bee goddess, honey. Bee goddess, honey. Oh, yeah.
Scandinavian bee goddess. And yes, the baklava needs to be giant. You know, oh no, it's absolutely fairy spoo. And what are we using for the nuts?
I think you could use like dryad acorns.
Dryad acorns. Dryad acorns, fairy spoo, giant baklava to follow up our chimera kebabs. This is an excellent little meal that's coming together along with a bit of saffron rice. It feels really delicious. And also, I'm assuming the chimera do not hold any conversations and they are merely strange.
Or they're evil. Like in almost all pieces of media that involve chimeras are super evil.
And not necessarily sentient. Yggdrasil acorns. That's a nice option. You gain a little knowledge. You feel a little bit misplaced in time. Possibly anger an entire pantheon, but it is a delicious piece of baklava. Well, Heston Blumenthal cooked a cockatrice on his TV show. I'm not really sure who he is, but also congratulations to him. That is quite the accomplishment.
I think a cockatrice is slightly easier because it's just chicken and snake. It's not it's not chicken. It's not snake, lion, goat.
Right.
Also, it breathes fire, so it makes sense to do it on a roasting experience.
Yeah, I think that's one you put on a spit. But also, you're right that the meats probably commingle, which is Very, very helpful. And yeah, you know what, Ty, I don't think you are really living life if you aren't angering the gods on a regular basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Up next is ruck eggs.
Ruck eggs.
Yes.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is a souffle too far of a stretch there? A ruck egg souffle?
I mean, I think the big thing is a ruck is very large.
Well,
Like a ruck is very large.
it's a very large souffle.
Maybe. I also think because it's a hawk, it doesn't have the same kind of texture as a white of a chicken egg. I think that it's more like a probably more like a quail egg.
Well, you can make a souffle out of any sort of egg. And also, here's an opportunity to reuse that magical unicorn horn cheese in
Oh my
your
goodness.
souffle.
So many choices. So many choices though.
Oh, French toast. Oh, this is French toast for the entire temporal entourage at our next gathering together at Worldcon. We'll just have this magical French toast from the pronounce it again, Grand Arbiter.
Ruck egg.
Ruck. I was about to say rook, which I know is wrong. Ruck
Rock or rook. Rock or ruck is it's rock like ROCK or rook. It just depends on who you are talking to.
Or an Italian mythic frittata of mighty proportions.
I think we could also conceivably do. I think French toast is a nice touch. Because what we could do is make it so it's like a very dense French toast. Like it takes one egg of such significant size to make these magical French toasts that serve only one person.
Yeah. No, my goodness. You just need some cinnamon swirl bread to make French toast with the ruck egg. That's going to be devastatingly delightful. And it's made with magic mushrooms. But what kind?
We're going on a trip. I'm not sure how long we'll be gone.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, cloud eggs. Yes, also delightful. Wonderful.
Yeah, I think that there's lots of options because it's egg, right? That's the magic of egg.
But now I'm really invested in the French toast, I have to
What do you think are the special components of ruck eggs that make them different than a standard chicken egg in terms of flavor?
Well, I think with the unicorn, we had a very clear sense that this was going to be a little bit spicy, a little bit transformative, like a Szechuan pepper. It might affect everything you taste. I think that a ruck egg, rather than being necessarily spicy and electrifying in that way, that it's going to really elevate your experience. So I think it's going to infuse a sort of buoyancy into the experience. It's going to be a little bit springier, a little bit, chewier.
Do you think it'll make you fly a little bit, like you levitate after eating them?
I think it does make you fly a little bit after you eat it. I do think you end up having a, if you will, real spring in your step after you have that ruck egg French toast.
I imagine it makes propelling yourself through the air very easy as well, I guess. Just ensure that you're having a very nice fiber diet, I suppose.
Oh, you should definitely be eating this with some of that magic fairy grass. And ruck eat big things, so it might have a slightly beefy or bisony flavor, or it could be a bit like duck eggs,
Yeah, I think that's true though. I think it's sort of like it's like a beefy egg. It's not just beefy, it's beefy.
Or a giraffe egg.
Okay, so We've had talks about mushrooms. So, not mice and men, but mycelium men.
Mycelium men, mushroom men. Well, I really appreciate that whilst they are ambulatory, they don't seem to have much cognitive function and do not engage in discourse of any variety.
Oh, well, some of them might be very cute.
Oh, I am conflicted, but I also don't mostly eat mushrooms. And also, yes, no one tell Paul Stamets. He's having conniptions even as
No,
we
he
speak.
loves eating mushrooms. I have no doubt, because that boy is burning mushrooms up. His engine eats mushrooms. That's what it eats.
His engine is mushrooms. He's mushrooms.
He's tardigrade.
Yeah. Oh, he's a tardigrade, right?
Because he eats mushrooms. Because that's why it smells for things, because it eats them. Ooh. Are they like, it's like these mushroom people are more like the root yelly people. What are they? A mandrake.
Oh, a mandrake. Yeah, I mean, I'm down for mandrake, in things. Little proper magical mandrake. So Cindy Joy brings a good point here. If they start as people, perhaps not. But if they are simply magical mushrooms that grow out of the ground and then sprout legs and were never associated with people, that's the kind we're eating.
What if they grow on people, but they don't do those people any harm? Like people who grow mushrooms on their heads like hats, and then they pop them off every so often and let people eat them.
I am so uncomfortable with that whole idea right now.
They're like mushroom farmers, except they're like using their own body.
No, listen. Did you see the short track where the sort of foolish bioengineer, did weird science with the tribbles and used his own DNA and then tried to get people to eat them? And the whole crew was like, no, I'm not going to eat your weird DNA tribble babies. I'm uncomfortable with it. Let me tell you, that is how I feel right now about the idea of eating mushrooms that are grown on people. I am not eating people mushrooms. I'll barely eat mushrooms as it is. I definitely won't eat people mushrooms. Hard line. No people mushrooms.
Okay. Okay. What about things that look like people but aren't people?
I mean, if they have little legs and they just move around and they basically have a smooth brain, no thoughts, are not sentient, they're basically a plant that moves, fine. If they talk back to me and have a conversation.
Okay. What if they mimic human behavior but aren't human themselves? Like a siren or a harpy, which just scream all day.
No, I don't. I'm not. They're sentient. I'm not.
Not always. Sometimes they're just evil yelling monsters.
They're too people-y for me. I just can't do it. I run up against a hard line there. Yes, a plant that moves, fine. People grown mushrooms straight out. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm so sorry I've wronged you in this way.
Oh, Grand Arbiter. You are more adventuresome on the eating front than I am, I think.
I'm just asking questions now.
Oh, you're making choices with the questions you ask. You little scamp. Don't think I don't know that you have a list and that you wanted to see how unhinged you could get me tonight. And congratulations, you've gone there.
Okay, we're shifting away. Okay. Baba Yaga's house. So you're telling us we want to make the most evil witch in the history of evil witches a homeless or carless? Ooh, that's a real good question. That's actually the more interesting question. Is Baba Yaga's house, is it an animal, a vehicle, or a building?
This is all very, I mean, yeah. Don't, well, let's assume it's animal and it's a strange avian creature that grows into a hut. Yeah, it's like chicken feet. I think dim sum is a good option for those. And less mechanical, probably is easier to consume. So I'm hoping that the woody fibers of the house portion are a bit like bamboo, so that if you know, if you like shave down the outside, you like peel them a bit and then dice them, you can do nice things with them and eat them. But I think the real question here is, how cursed will you be, and what sort of magical elements you need to add to your Baba Yaga's
I
house.
just think the effort of getting the house's legs off the building is so large, and the amount of meat that is available on those is so little that I'm not sure it's worth it.
They're very big legs, but there's also a very big curse is probably associated with those. And that gives me a little bit of pause, but I'm also curious about it now. So without a curse, I'd probably be willing to give it a try.
Okay. How about, I feel like Pegasus is like unicorn. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, it is it's like eating probably a swan. A little bit angry, a little bit muscular, a little gamey.
Yeah, I think that's one you really have to have some aromatics, some really strong ones.
Yeah. So, you might want a little bit of peppercorn with that, maybe some delightful, I don't know.
Some big old onions.
Definitely. Oh my goodness. Generate overnight. Oh no, that's still a bad time for us. So watch out.
You're right though. Pegasus is certainly lighter fare.
That's right. Yeah, well, those bones must be hollow like a bird's. And I'm assuming it's a bit like swan, which I've never eaten a swan. They're way too angry. I've had goose though, and that's similar. So maybe a bit of a goose-like approach.
Yeah, I could see it. You could sous vide it.
Sous vide it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Sous vide Pegasus. Well, now that you've convinced me to eat unicorn, it was very easy to convince me that Pegasus was on the menu.
Okay.
So, and Tracy, I don't think Mothman is on the.
I think he talks. He's a prophet, so I think he talks.
He's too sentient.
Now, here's the question that I think is actually really hard. How do you cook a phoenix without it, either being a pile of ash that you eat, or it regenerating inside you and bursting out of you like an alien? That's my real question.
Also, this is true. No, I don't think I eat a phoenix.
Can't restore what has been brined. What has been brined cannot be restored. Flash freeze and boil it like a pierogi.
Yeah, no, excellent. This is also true. This is the Grand Arbiter's nefarious plan tonight. Sharon recommends stewing the phoenix.
Okay, that makes sense. I do think placing the phoenix in liquid is part of the deal here.
Yeah.
Okay. What I definitely think makes good ceviche, though.
Yes.
Kraken ceviche.
Oh no, Kraken ceviche is the way to go. That's excellent. I'm absolutely down with Kraken ceviche. Honestly, I would eat the nonsense out of that, and I know that comes. I'm not sure that I feel Kraken can hold a conversation.
I mean, I don't think they can. I mean,
I don't recommend microwaving a phoenix either.
I don't think they can. Okay,
Yes.
so here's a real I think we could talk about a lot of really rare creatures, hard to come by.
All right. Okay.
We really need to be thinking about doing more sustainable eating, to be honest.
Right.
As a community, we need to work to be more sustainable. Mm-hmm. And in that fashion, I recommend that we eat a hydra.
A hydra.
Because you just chop off a head, and then you eat that part, and then you chop off another head, and then you eat those parts.
Honestly, the hydra is not a bad idea. I do think you'll need to think along the lines of how you would prepare snake or dragon with a hydra, because it's very similar vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I think you treat it sort of like chicken, and you could basically feed each head a little bit of a different diet so it has different textures.
Yeah. Well, we're back to hydra ceviche. I think would work absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also sort of, you get ahead, everyone gets ahead. It's the Oprah of
it's how you get ahead in life, in fact.
It's terrible. So I think I'd probably want to do something that's a bit more interesting, though, and maybe like fillet it and
like hydra sushi.
Hydra sushi would be nice. I mean, I don't depending, but I'm not sure if a hydra is fishy enough or if it's more like reptilian, and so it's going to actually need to be cooked a bit, because you shouldn't really eat reptile raw. That's not a good time.
No, not generally.
So you want to cook them. Listen, shredded pulled hydra tacos.
Ooh, interesting.
With like a nice fairy grass slaw and a little, again, we can bring in some of that unicorn horn, grate a little bit of that onto your taco. Maybe, with lime. Absolutely, with lime. With lime. Indeed. Yeah. Absolutely. I think hydra tacos is where we're going with this. I feel like that's a really strong option. I would eat that taco. It would be messy, and I would like it.
Yeah. So
and a golden apple to round it out.
Yes. Apples for everybody. So I think with dragon, there's just so many kinds of dragons.
Yes.
And so many different ways to prepare them. You'd have to have a whole dragon restaurant. And I think would be like a Brazilian, people walk around with meat on a stick that's cooked, and they do you want some? And dragon tails are already built that they can get stuck on a stick really easy.
Right.
Big cat tails.
You've got weaverns, you've got, regular European dragons, you've got different regional dragons. Fleets of dragon steaks, really.
Mhm.
Dragon kebab. You could do dragon gyro. That would be pretty good, I think. I think, what is it? Oh no. Oh, brain fog. What a terrible time for you to arrive.
Describe what you're trying to get at.
Dragon tartar.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, dragon tartar.
I think that's definitely doable.
Yeah. I think that Brazilian Steakhouse Dragon is the winner here. I agree, Ty. Be such a good time. And just imagine all of the ale that could get served with that, a real mead selection. You could really unleash the flagon experience for some serious quaffing. Yes, the Brazilian meat on a large sword brought to your table. Yeah.
I think that sounds nice.
Yeah. And Bill, you're correct. I said no raw reptiles. I did say that. But the thing with tartar is, whilst it is technically rare, it is cooked with acid. Like ceviche. Sort of. No, it doesn't have to make internal logical sense. I'm ruled by weird whimsy, and also, though, I feel like, honestly, the Brazilian meat option is the way to go. We definitely need to have grilled pineapple too, to go with all
sounds nice.
dragon meat. I'm certain that a little citric acid component would go very well with the whole thing, and a green salad.
So one thing, we're looking at fish, thinking about fish.
All right.
Do you think it's worth it to eat the magical? I know that you're opposed to humanoids.
Yes.
But Japanese merpeople, they grant immortality, longevity.
No, I just know of Grand Arbiter. They're fish people. They're people, right? And I don't eat people.
Even if they made you immortal, though? I mean, they're supposed to have wildly healing properties.
I mean, listen, but at what price? Exactly, Bill. At what price? No. Listen, I could just go to some river in Greek mythology and dip myself in that water and not have to eat fish people. I feel strongly about not eating the fish people. I don't know about the sea monk, I have to admit, so I need educating. But we do have the Loch Ness monster. So,
do you think Nessie can talk?
Well, this is something we haven't discussed.
I mean,
endangered.
Here's the question. Let's assume that we have access to, because technically we could go eat a bald eagle today if we had the means, but I don't think we would make that choice.
No,
but if it was not. if it was a pest animal, then we'd eat it all the time.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, if Nessie's like Nutria, and there are secretly a lot of Nessies, and they're just very large, kind of throwbacks to the dinosaur era who somehow managed to live in Loch Ness, then yeah, I'd be curious. But also, you could open an entire single restaurant with one Nessie, and that would be your supply source for a year.
I just don't think that Nessie and Mothman are the same. They're not. They like get talked about in the same way, but that's like saying I don't agree. I don't eat the two.
I do pause at eating Nessie, but the only way it works for me is if there's more than one Nessie. If there's a singular Nessie, I just can't do it. If Nessie is secretly like a clan of Nutria that take over the Nesses, the locks, as it were, actually, then that feels different. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it seems fine. I just think that Nessie's probably not that tasty. I just don't imagine a lizard that lives in mostly briny but also kind of fresh water is going to be that tasty.
Yeah. Also,
and deep ones aren't fish, so they can't be sushi.
we don't know what the deep ones are.
I mean, they're definitely closer to octopus than they're more crustacean than they are fish.
Yeah, but you
I
can
guess it
have
depends on the deep one.
and
Like
you can
Dagon is definitely like fish daddy, but
fish tea.
but they definitely talk. We just can't understand them.
Yeah, no, that's true. They are sort of,
But they are so gigantic that if you like took a little skin off, they probably would notice.
old one tonkatsu ramen. That's excellent. We've got deep one spider roll. Yeah, that sounds right. Also, yeah, no, Tracy is correct. Consistency for us ever? No.
Yeah, I think that if
Not
we treat
with
it like an eel, we could do it in eel sauce.
Yeah, I'm totally allergic to everything about that. But yes.
Well, we're talking about a fantasy world
That's
where
true.
you have an immunity to eating deep old ones' flesh.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, although you don't want food that takes your sanity is a really good point.
I mean, sometimes I feel like I have slightly too much. So sometimes you want to like, it's like you take a
bleed
little bit
off
of
some
poison
sanity.
once in a while, just a little bit of poison once in a while. It's like eating things on the like 300,000 level on the Scoville scale. Do you think there's like a Scoville scale for like madness inducing like food? Like
I think there is now.
The Cthulhu scale, it's like the Lulu scale.
The Lulu scale. I think there is one now. I think we
10,000
just
Lulus.
created it in this moment. It now exists in the world. And I believe in everyone here with us tonight to help us figure out what that scale is and also what really is kosher in the sort of magical creature pantheon for the nomification.
I definitely am not going to make it the Lovecraft scale because that we don't stand him anymore. He's not going to get that. He doesn't get to be titled. We can steal some of his stuff because common nomenclature now, but no, it's not specific enough. Because you could be talking about how racist someone is on the Lovecraft scale.
Oh, yeah. Also, pickled cloven hoofs, perhaps?
I think this was a question of can they be kosher or not?
Oh, can they? Well, yeah, no, that's good. I'm more in the are they sentient? Is a real big
that's a real question for the chimera, though. Can parts of the chimera be kosher because the feet are like lion feet? I guess not, because those are probably not allowed.
I feel entirely out of my depth on that particular front of deciphering the literal kosherness of
I mean, we're not Jewish, so we wouldn't know.
No.
I mean, Seder is definitely not allowed. They definitely talk
straight out. I would not eat a Seder. They're sentient
Mr. Tumnus is not good for the tummy.
No. He's good for cuddling. He's good for tea time. He's good for dating, potentially, although he really does need to work on his boundaries and maybe pursue a little bit of therapy because he really is, got a messy, toxic relationship with Jadis.
I mean, he's not in a relationship with Jadis. He's her employer. He's just bound by capitalism. he's just stuck in a really toxic business relationship. It's really it's really more that you know, if the kids had been more invested in ending feudalism, maybe Mr. Tumnus would be finally be able to seize the means of his own
tea time production. Poor Mr. Tumnus. But no, we do not eat satyrs or fawns.
Okay, final thoughts. My thoughts are, as interesting as eating magical creatures sounds, it also sounds like a lot of work. And a lot of these things would be game. And the problem with game is they can't really safely be cultivated to mass marketing. And if Madame Askew and I ate magical creatures, of course, that'd become very popular. And then they might be hunted to extinction. So we can't really eat magical creatures because they can't be cultivated in captivity.
No. That's true. Also, there is really a lot more ethical concerns in terms of sentience. What does that look like? Endangerment, and also just importance as cultural icons. So,
I do think so in the series Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts, they
if we propose this to Worldcon, it's your fault, Tracy.
In Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts, the rule for animal consumption is if you're captured and don't talk, you get eaten.
Yeah.
Which I think is very fair.
Yeah.
If you're not a good conversationalist, why are you even here?
Delicious in Dungeon has its own sort of ethics around this. And Lady June Squirrel brought up the Wild Hunt, and that's true. I do have more qualms and more ethics than the Wild Hunt does.
What a low bar to pass.
I'm more ethical than the Wild Hunt. Yay!
With that, we are we are going to call it an evening.
Yes, my darlings. Thank you. Yes, Delicious in Dungeon is a twistedly fun series. It's available on Netflix. It's a fun watch if you're looking for something charming and cozy with like some conundrums that they work through ethically. Grand Arbiter, my darling.
Yes.
It's been so wonderful to spend this absolutely unhinged tea time with you. Thank you for crafting our delightful array of topics for this week's Patreon's Corner poll. If you want to help us choose what unhinged topic we're going to discuss every week, please consider joining our Patreon, where you can vote and also recommend future potential topics for a Patreon's Corner. We host this poll almost every time we do tea, with the exception of special guests. We don't always torment our special guests in this special way, but sometimes we do. So, my darlings, please consider joining our Patreon. It also helps us continue to do all of this ridiculous nonsense without... Oh, that's Eve's. Pardon me. You should also support Eve, but please consider supporting us if you do not already. Patreon is what keeps our teapots full and keeps our silver polished and allows us to do all of this unhinged nonsense. Without Patreon, we would not be here every week, and we would not be able to travel around through time and space getting to spend quality time with all of you. So
as we're closing off, Madame Askew, favorite recipe?
Honestly, I feel very strongly about the Dragon Brazilian Steakhouse idea.
I'm really excited about the idea of chimera kebabs because
Oh,
one of
that's
my favorite things is different textures of meat.
Yeah, yeah, chimera kebabs. Also, I love the name of it. It's really good. You all did convince me to give unicorn a try, which I did not think was going to be possible. So, congratulations, everyone. You even got me arguing about it. That was remarkable.
Before
So,
we close out for the evening, Madame Askew,
yes,
um,
Greta.
I think it might be fun to demonstrate the other option, one of the other options that we were planning, just for fun, just fun.
Oh, all right, okay.
Okay, so Madam and I are going to play an improv game very quickly. We're just going to connect our thoughts to each other. We're going to be doing same brain.
Okay, same
Madam
brain.
and I are going to say a word at the count of 3. So 3, 2, 1, say the word.
Okay.
Not go. 3, 2, 1, say the word.
All right, okay.
And we will try to say the same word. If we miss, we're going to try to say related words to try to get to the same word.
Right. We're trying to hone in our psychic bond. All right. Good.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, potato.
Okay.
What did you say?
Darjeeling.
Darjeeling. Okay. Potatoes and
right.
Darjeeling.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Curry.
Curry? Okay. I said something else. My goodness. I was like thinking French fries.
Oh, but okay. But we were both honing in on this potato in the dish.
Okay. Let's try that again.
All right. Good. Okay. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Starch.
I had a blank. That was terrible.
Oh, no!
Blank.
We'll have to work on our brain connection. It's clearly disrupted by my vaccination.
Well, I blame Dr. Frankenstein, honestly.
I do too.
And the sound bath.
I also think part of it is also doing this virtually is very hard, is the lesson.
Yeah.
The delay is a little weird.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That does have an impact. Probably a better we'll mess with it because you know what I've learned, darlings, is that the Grand Arbiter and I are shameless hussies who absolutely have the audacity to try any nonsense as a topic or
at least once, maybe even twice.
So if we like it, twice. So use cards another time. That's fun.
We could do something. Well, maybe we'll do it in person when we're together next too. That's
we'll give it a whirl again. But all of that said, my darlings, thank you so much for being here tonight, for joining us for tea. We do this every week on Friday nights at the same time, right here, whatever channel you are tuning in right now, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. We are here every Friday, barring calamity or conventions. So please join us. And also, please remember to treasure yourselves as we treasure you.
Don't forget to see Dr. Frankenstein for your upgrade. Get
your vaccines. Wash your hands. Eat your vitamins and minerals. If you are going to the Dragon Steakhouse, make sure that you eat some greens with that. Get some fairy grass into your diet. It's very important. But no matter what, please take very good care of yourselves because you are a vital part of this world and of our community. And if you don't take care of yourselves, I'm contractually obligated to haunt you like a mad, deranged cat, and you will never have a quiet moment to yourself again.
The worst we'll do is we'll use the Ouija board. That's the worst. It'll be fine. We'll see you folks next time when Madame Askew and I are a little less deranged or deranged in a different direction. Bye, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Cheers.